All right, let's get to the next game. Memphis taking down Arkansas in what was a really, really fun noon game, 32-31. Memphis getting a massive win for their potential playoff resume. And Arkansas for the second straight week, Dalton, after fumbling it on what could have been the game-winning drive against Ole Miss, they fumbled it on what could have been the game-winning drive against Memphis as well. So back-to-back games where Arkansas fumbled on the potential game-winning drive for them. Let's go over the highest-grade players, though, starting off with the Memphis Tigers. Their highest-grade player was safety Kamari Wilson, 77.2. Offensive tackle Chris Adams, 75.3. Chris Bracey, the safety, 73.6. Running back Sutton Smith, talk about him later, 73.4. Bryce Anderson, 72.9, the tight end. And Brendan Lewis with a 64.1 grade at quarterback. Let's go over to Arkansas with their highest grade players in the loss, going over with Bradley Shaw, the linebacker, 81.6. Quincy Rhodes Jr., 80.8, the edge rusher. Ian Jaffrard, the D tackle, 75.2. Jaden Platt, the tight end, 74.6. Julian Neal, the corner, 74.2. And Taylor Green played pretty well with a 78.5 grade, but not enough in the loss for the Razorbacks. Dalton, what told the story in this game?
Yeah, the Arkansas offense went dark in the second half, the entire second half, and that last fumble was really emblematic of all of that. Arkansas, 5 drives in the second half, 1 field goal, 2 punts, an interception, and that Mike Washington fumble at the end, a 64.8 offensive grade. And when I was going back and watching this second half, to me it was really about first down. They were not making any plays. They weren't making plays on first down. Memphis dialed in their run defense on first down, especially first half, first down runs for Arkansas, 8.8 yards per carry. Second half, 1.1 yards per carry. They were going to put Arkansas in bad situations in the second half by stopping the run on first down no matter what. They were going to make them throw the football, make Taylor Green beat you with his arm. And honestly, he can do that. Taylor Green can beat you with his arm. Absolutely. He's really talented. But in a game where Arkansas was ahead 28-10, they lost sight of their run game and they weren't able to make enough plays on first down. That's how Memphis, got that momentum. That's how they came all the way back. And then obviously forcing the turnovers is big time. Those 2 second half turnovers and obviously the fumble at the end that just about sealed it. Big time stuff from Memphis' defense after a rough first half, stepped up and only gave up 3 points in the second half and really shut down Arkansas, especially on the ground.
I'll do my stat and most impressive in the same go here. Stat, Memphis, 8.2 yards per carry. Most impressive, running back Sutton Smith. Because Memphis, really, I thought going into this game, I had concerns for Arkansas's secondary defending Brendan Lewis, considering how bad the secondary was against Ole Miss the week before and how bad it was the year before, really, too. The Razorbacks had difficulties with Brendan Lewis, but as a runner, not as a passer in this game. Memphis averaged 3.9 yards before contact, 4.2 yards after contact, over 300 rushing yards in this game. Brendan Lewis had 122 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns, and Sutton Smith, my most impressive, had 147 yards and a touchdown on only 12 carries in this game, almost 150 rushing yards on 12 carries, 90 yards after contact, 12.3 yards per carry, 7.5 yards after contact per carry. This Arkansas defense had serious issues, and this Memphis rushing attack exploited them in this one. This rushing game for Memphis with Brendan Lewis and with Sutton Smith, if they keep playing like that and the offensive line keeps playing like that too, with Brendan Lewis looking like one of the best passers that we have in the group of 5 too, Memphis is absolutely one of the favorites to win the American and by proxy, one of the favorites to make the college football playoff this year.
This American conference this year is just ridiculous. Memphis and what they just did getting this big win, and that Arkansas team is good. They're struggling on defense, but that's a good football team. What USF is doing and the way they bounced back from the Miami loss. Tulane, obviously, they took a beating against Ole Miss, but they've already beaten Northwestern and Duke. They've shown what they can do. UTSA, Army, Navy. The American, you have to feel like right now, and I know there's a chance maybe a UNLV or somebody runs the table, but you have to feel like right now that the winner of the American is going to be the playoff team. And it's going to be, when I tell you it's going to be a bloodbath, You got some darn good football teams that are going to play each other in this American Conference. It is going to be so much fun to watch. I think a huge story when it comes to the playoff race is what happens in the American with, I think, 5, 6, 7 teams that are all really, really good.
I agree. What was your most impressive part in this Memphis win?
Look, I got to give it to the guy who made really the game-winning play, the safety, Chris Bracey from Memphis. Look, 90.9 run defense grade. A big reason for that is that game-winning fumble. The punch-out on Mike Washington as he was reaching for the first down that really would have sealed the game for Arkansas. They were already well within field goal range down near the 10-yard line, but 90.9 run defense grade, 4 tackles, 1 stop, also a pass break up in coverage. He's the hero. That play from Chris Bracey, the punch-out on Mike Washington, is the play that everybody in Memphis is going to remember forever. A huge win for their program and a huge win, again, for their playoff chances. You can maybe even afford 1 loss in the American because you have this win right here. That can carry you past some things. I mean, you have to win the conference, but you feel really good about these teams, some of these teams in the American, if they do make a run, being ranked high enough for sure to get in and have that advantage.
Well, spoiler, there will be a couple American teams, my top 25.
That conference is excellent this year. I'm telling you, there are 6 or 7 teams there that could legitimately. North Texas had a couple big wins. They've looked really good so far too. It is going to be a lot of fun to watch that conference. Yep, absolutely. There's a ton of them, and a lot of them already have big wins over Power 4 schools.
Absolutely, yeah. But Memphis getting a major one with a 32-31 win over Arkansas.